Hey YouTube, this is Alice at Wonderland Speaks. It is Sunday, Mother's Day, May 9th, 2021. I'm coming to you today. I want to talk about an update on my COVID-19 Moderna vaccine. First of all, certainly, if you like what I'm talking about, I hope you decide to like and subscribe and share. Again, as I stated before, my motivation for this was when I was doing my research, I really didn't see a lot of people that I could identify with. So that was my inspiration for documenting this process for me. So, as I stated, it's Mother's Day. I'm just settling down for the day. Of course, this is an opportunity for those of us to be thankful if we still have our mothers with us. And then there are those of us whose mothers have gone on. And I would be one of those people. My mother happens to be buried with my father in a military cemetery. When he purchased one plot, he also purchased one for her as well because he went first. My father was 62 when he died, which is, as we know, relatively young. But my father lived a very hard life. He was hardworking, but he liked to have a good time as well. So, as we all know, those things will catch up to us, and he was no exception. My father was an alcoholic, and he died of cirrhosis of the liver at the age of 62. My mother was, she was a very hardworking woman. She raised a very large family. There is 11 of us. My parents had 11 children, or as my mother describes it, she had 15 children, and 4 of them died in birth. So there was 11 of us growing up. It was an interesting dynamic because generally back then in families, you'd have what you call a younger set, older set. I'm from the second group, which would be the younger set. So in other words, anybody born before 1950 as opposed to anybody born after 1950. I'm in the group of after 1950. I am the youngest girl in that group. I have 3 other older sisters. We're all mothers. I have 2 adult children and 4 grandchildren. I don't have 4 grandchildren. I get grand and great-grand mixed up. No. My daughter has 2 sons, and my son has a little girl. So you might say, you don't know how many grandkids you got? I do, but I don't. So as I stated, I clarified that technically I have 3 grandchildren. So I am among those of us who are truly blessed. And as I stated, this is certainly an opportunity when I think about my mother. I think about my mother often, and today is no exception. Of course, today is special. My mother used to always use the phrase, give me my flowers while I'm alive. In other words, don't wait till I die and then you want to have this big celebration and buy all these flowers to go on a casket or whatever. Her philosophy was, give it to me now. Don't wait, give it to me now. So I guess I would say I kind of lived by my mother's philosophy, even though I, like her, I am prepared for what comes afterwards, so that I don't leave that hardship on my family. So, as I said, I want to give every mother a happy Mother's Day and many, many more, and to just really treasure every moment, because none of us know how much time we have. So I don't want to get morbid. I live my life every day as a testimony to my mother. And with that being said, I live a very blessed life, and that's thanks to my parents, but especially my mother. She, I would say, is the ultimate influence in my life. I would say everything that I do, in one way or another, was influenced by her and how I was raised. My parents were married in 1936, and they lived until death do you part. And I know today that is so unheard of, but in my generation it's rather common. So growing up in that kind of environment, you develop a certain type of skill set, as well as a stick-to-itiveness, so to speak. But anyway, I just want to give a little tribute to my mother, and I thank God for all the years that I did have with her. And there are many days when I say, even today, that I wish she were still here. Not that I'd want her to be the age that she'd be now. I would really want her to be how I last remembered her, healthy, before she got sick. I said how my father died, so it's not fair for me to say how my mother passed. My mother was 77 when she died, and she died from scleroderma, which is an autoimmune disease. And I pray no one out there watching will ever have to watch a loved one die that way. But again, I love my mother. I will always love my mother. Of course I will. So, my topic today is my COVID-19 Moderna vaccine. I realize that it's important to say which one you got, because my understanding is they're all a little different. So, as far as today is, I got my shot on May 4th, and today is May 9th. And as of today, I've had no symptoms whatsoever, other than the ones I mentioned initially, which was my arm that I got the shot in. And again, I would say it left no bruise, nothing. I had a slight headache for, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 hours that night that I got the shot, because I got it like at 7 p.m. On that day, which was a Tuesday. And I had like a little annoying headache that night, but after that, so far, I've experienced absolutely not one symptom other than, or reaction, or side effect, depending on how you choose to look at it. Other than, I would say, I seem to have a little more energy, which is unusual for me. I'm always looking for those days, because when you are one of those people who have a compromised immune system, or / parentheses, an autoimmune disease, you have good days and bad days. And so the very good days you really want to treasure and do as much as you can, because tomorrow might be a day where you can't even get out of bed, or if you do, you're not able to do anything. So on the days when I have a good day, when my head is clear and it's not foggy and I'm not riddled with pain or swelling or whichever one of those or a combination of them that might decide to visit that day, I do as much as I can. Yesterday as well was a very good day. I decided to go out, and I had recently put on some new seat covers on my car. I'm thinking about selling my car, so I decided to take seat covers off, clean out my car, because I'm going to go look this week and see. I'm still not sure if I'm going to do it. I don't know. But I went out, I cleaned out my car, took those seat covers off, which was a major challenge because I didn't put them on. So I didn't really know if it was going to be difficult or not. But the people I hired at this shop, they had them all tangled up. It was a mess. The point is, I did get them off my car. I also decided to set up my patio, put my umbrella up, brought out my nice bright lime green, white striped patio cushions for my seats. I added a couple more of those solar lights, and I was up at Walmart today picking up a prescription, and I went over in the lawn and garden. I was looking to see what the flowers look like. I was going to pick up a couple. I usually try to put some fresh ones out this time of year because they're beautiful. I love flowers. Unfortunately, the selection was lackluster, and not to mention, I actually looked for the same flowers that I got last year, and they've almost doubled in price. And I said, not today. Maybe possibly I'll go to an actual nursery and see what I can find, because what they have is ridiculous, and I don't need flowers that bad. My patio stays staged, so to speak. My patio furniture stays out. The only thing I actually dismantle is the umbrella, and I put it up. Otherwise, I have centerpieces and lights and all kinds of crap out there anyway. So if I don't get any fresh, I'm not going to lose any sleep. So it'll be fine. So anyway, again, I wanted to share that with you, and also wish each and every mother out there who's doing her very best a happy Mother's Day. And I said to myself all day long, happy Mother's Day. So that's my philosophy, all day long, every day. And I'm just thankful for that. Let's see, what else? I talked about my vaccine, how well I'm doing. I gave a little mediocre tribute to my mom. I brought up my dad because, oftentimes they say we don't give our fathers enough credit. I was fortunate that I had my father until, I think it was 25 or 29. I'm not positive. With parents, we tend to have a closer relationship with our mothers rather than our fathers, and I know that's not everyone, but I grew up in a time when mothers stayed at home and fathers went out and worked, and my mother was what they would describe as a housewife. And if I learned nothing else growing up, I knew I didn't want to be her. I never wanted to be a housewife. I'm not taking anything away from my mother because she was home every day, never wondered where she was. My mother never learned how to drive. So she waited on Daddy to take her wherever she had to go. And as we know, when you don't drive, you sort of, there's a certain independence that comes with knowing how to drive and having your own vehicle. She tried a few times, Because we had, growing up, I grew up out in the country, and we had 5 acres, and she practiced in the back by the fields, because we plant every year, as they say, planting season. And so she would try until she got stuck or something in the backyard, and then she would give up. But my mother had a lot of aspirations. She wanted to travel, and she was very active in the church, and she sang in the choir. At some point, she was on the usher board and various committees. She was always willing to lend a helping hand in the community. That was during a time when you heard the saying, it takes a village. My mother was that kind of person, as most people in our neighborhood were. Everybody watched what you were doing. So now in hindsight, I realized how blessed I was, because you never wondered about anything happening to you. And we lived in the country where you had roads. You didn't have streets or avenues. You had country roads and ditches on the side. So if you didn't know how to drive, or if you weren't the best driver, you might wind up in a ditch and you couldn't get it out because the ditches were deep. And if you got your car in there, you'd have to get a tow truck. So anyway, maybe perhaps one day, because I didn't get on here with the attitude, because I made notes, and it was not my intent to get on here and do a tribute to my mother, but my mother is so close to my heart, and I think about her every day. Every day. That has not changed. So, as I said, this is Alice at Wonderland Speaks. And please, I hope you'll like and subscribe to my channel, as well as click the notification bell so that you'll know when I'm putting out new stuff. And also go back and check some of my videos, because, you know, one of the first things we learn, those of us who research, and they tell us one of the main things that we should do in trying to grow our channel is stay consistent. Stay consistent. Always put something out. Don't critique yourself so much. Just keep putting out content and you'll figure it out. Well, I don't know, but I know I've done, I don't know, maybe 90 videos, maybe, I don't know. It might be a little more, but I'm still very much learning what I'm doing. And so all I can do is keep trying. I also find this process rather therapeutic. And so with that in mind, this is Alice at Wonderland Speaks. And please like and subscribe and share and click the notification bell so that you'll know. So again, I want everyone to be blessed and stay safe and be good to yourself as well as others.